Let's talk performance. The mom and pop Beneteaus and Jeannots may be the best sellers, but when it comes to crisp and stiff performance, they do feel a bit like Winnebagos on the water. As the kids grow into teenagers, you may find yourself wanting for a bit more boat, more space, more speed. And that's where X-Yachts comes in, for folks who have grown out of their plastic French Winnebago and want something a little bit more cutting edge. X-Yachts is a Danish shipyard located in Haderslev in the southern part of Denmark. The shipyard builds between 35 and 65-foot boats. The shipyard was founded in 1979 by the brothers Lars Jeppesen, Niels Jeppesen, and their friend Birger Hansen. The first boat, the X-79, got its name due to the length of the boat, which was 7.9 meters. And because it was launched in the year 1979. The boat was the Danish answer to the J24, Albin Express, and the Maxi 80 Racer, and has won many regattas since its first launch. A total of 468 X-79s were built between 1979 and 1994. The yard builds approximately 150 boats a year. The yard has built over 6,000 boats for clients worldwide since they opened back in '79. X-Yachts employs a total of 100 people at the headquarters in Haderslev and has its own molding production in Poland as well. X-Yachts has a global dealer network consisting of 40 independent dealers. In total, X-Yachts employs over 250 people worldwide. And today, we're looking at the X43, a 43.5-foot, 21,000-pound go-fast cruiser for the mature adult that doesn't want to go to the Bahamas. And I say that not because this boat can't go to the Bahamas, but because of the three keels. The deep 8'2" for racing or ocean passage, the standard keel, a 7'3", and the smallest option, which our feature boat today has, the 6'1". 6'1" is Bahamas capable, but with most of the best anchorages and hiding spots you'll want to get into when the weather gets rough down there, they require a draft of less than 6 feet. This boat will be a little bit limiting. I wish they'd done a cruising keel of 5'5", or maybe even just 5. Catalina just redid their keel designs and broke new territory just into the 4s with their cruising keel, just under 5 feet total draft. But this boat will have to make do with that 6'1". Bahamas capable, but barely. But shallow water is not what this boat wants to do. She wants to go fast and do so in a very stable and comfortable way. The wide open fold down transom is massive, as this boat now carries its beam all the way aft. And beyond the twin helm, you'll find the main sheet traveler recessed into the cockpit floor with end boom sheeting, and a main that can be handled from the helm, which is pure racing, and I like that a lot. It'll get in the way slightly, but this is the name of pure sailing. There are no helm seats on this boat either, so you'll be perched literally on the edge of your seat on the side deck while hand steering, but I think that's okay too. I like to feel like part of the action when I'm sailing fast, and the rest of the time you'd be on the autopilot anyway. I should mention that while we're here, this boat is a single rudder. All the French boats are dual rudder now, but X-Yachts values the performance and grip of a single blade, and in test sails, the formula worked. She maintains grip all the way to a 45-degree heel when overpowered, and the single blade means more feedback through the wheel, so you'll know what the boat's doing. I also like the added touch of the fold-away dodger. It's there, but it's stowed under a cover to reduce windage, which a lot of racers like to do. You'll want the coach top slippery and the sightlines wide open when you get up to go fast. Coming up the side decks, we note the rod rigging run all the way outboard to the chain plates holding the keel-stepped mast. That's right, keel-stepped, which is interesting because the hatches don't seem to know that she's a race boat. I say that because in the promotional video provided by X-Yachts, we can see her being put through her paces, and notice the deck is awash, it's wet. This boat likes to take waves over the side and get her deck wet, and while that's a lot of fun, these flush hatches would be a problem. Water would immediately go below. In the old days, we had proud hatches that could be open while sailing with less risk of the wet deck wetting our bedding inside. But these flush hatches offer no protection from water, so they have to be closed if there's even a chance of taking some splash up on the deck, which this boat likes to do. Moving forward, a pet peeve of mine, and I don't expect it to be a pet peeve of yours, but these anchor rollers that are slim and sexy and beautiful, but only allow you to use certain anchors. I tend to like a straight shank rockna, as much of the cruising community does, and it won't fit on these sexy anchor rollers. Also, only room for one anchor, so my backup will need to be stowed in a locker, not somewhere I like to keep a 50-pound battle axe, but okay. The air draft on this boat is a daunting 66 feet without any instruments or antenna, so it'll be over 66 when you have the hardware up there, so the ICW would be a problem if you tend to hit the east coast of the US. In the 43-foot boat market, manufacturers tend to either stay below 64 feet to be ICW friendly or ignore the ICW altogether, and this boat ignores it. Another thing to note about this boat is how well they've engineered hiding all the lines. Every sheet and halyard and control line has a specific place it's supposed to live, so it's out of the way and largely out of sight. I bet they spent a lot of time on this, and it works really well. I love the clean decks, and there's really nothing to trip over anywhere that you walk. The companionway boards fold back into a recess to hide, and behind that is a catch basin for all the line tails after the coach top winches. Clean and beautiful. I can definitely see myself aboard this boat, perched near the helm, constantly trimming to get every second decimal place out of that knot meter, which is a big screen right in the middle of the coach top that everyone can see, so my trimmers won't have an excuse. Test sails found that this boat charges along in the mid-sevens at 35 degrees to weather and easily jumps to double digits with the code up in a stiff breeze. They've raised the chines on this boat when they carry the beam all the way aft, so she slides through the water with very little turbulence now. Headed inside this Danish-built boat, we're greeted by light, and I mean lots of light from the 11 fixed port lights and 12 opening hatches. This boat has a window in almost every surface that they could fit one, and it's amazingly bright and airy inside. The upholstery work is top-notch too, and it feels like suede with the flip and fold transformer table in the middle of the C-shaped settee. Forward on this two-cabin, two-head model, we have the owner's head to port, with the owner's cabin up in the V-berth. I have to say, other 40-footers do a much better job with the space up here for the owners to sleep in. It feels more like an RV on this boat, but it's a performance boat. And if the performance wasn't so stellar, this might bother me. As we move aft, we note the cabin sole. Like many boats of this style today, the sole is made of countless pieces of wood, all fastened down independently. Good for access, as they've left the fasteners on this boat exposed, but bad for floor squeaks, as all the boards are separate and tend to rub together. I miss the days when the sole was one giant surface instead of this result of a round of Tetris kind of thing. The joinery and finishing here is nice. Not outstanding like a world cruiser, but not cheap like an island hopper. It's just nice. Rounded corners, grains that line up, storage like crazy, very modern. Through the galley, we've got the day head to starboard, which you have to walk through to get to the aft cabin, and the toilet and shower are in their own compartment forward. This is kind of weird, but I guess it works. If someone's in the toilet or shower, you can still pass through to get to that cabin. Aft of the galley is the other aft cabin, and note this boat has an extra berth up on the side, which the kids might like to use to store their junk and call this their bedroom. Engine access is available from both the aft cabins and under the stairs where the Yanmar lives. Everything gets a Yanmar these days, and this one's bolted to a sail drive. Now let's talk Turkey. A used old Mark I X43 goes for about 200 grand, which is on par with other 40-footers, but this new one, well, their website has this very cool toy to play with and spec out your own boat and build it however you want. I really love this. It even shows a picture of what it'll look like after you choose a spec, and you can get a quote from the builder at the end. I spec'd one to be about mid-range. I didn't do the carbon fiber mast option, but I did a lot of other things, and the price came to about $700,000. To put that in perspective, a brand new Oceanis 40.1 is about $400,000 spec'd out the same way. The Beneteau won't be as fast or charge as high into the wind, but it does have a much better cruising layout and more comfortable accommodations. But this X-Yacht is for people who've outgrown the Beneteau and want something a bit more dramatic. Just for fun, I searched for brand new boats in the $700,000 price range. If you're going to spend that much on an X43, what else could you buy? Turns out a lot. A Beneteau 51 or a Hansa 548 or even a multi-hull. The Neo 43 is about the same price, and as luck would have it, this boat was also at the Newport Boat Show too, so we'll have a tour for you pretty soon. Don't forget to subscribe. I know these boats are expensive and not what us cruisers would ever likely buy, but it's nice to look at them so we can see where the industry is going, what new innovations are happening, and for me, what will be available on the used market a bit later in life. What I want to keep an eye on for my future. Is there anything you're keeping an eye on? Let me know in the comments and I'll try to get on board and give you a tour.